Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we understood what Ansible is and why it is widely used in DevOps for automation. In this video, we are going to deep dive into Ansible architecture and understand how Ansible actually works behind the scenes. Let's talk about it like imagine you are a DevOps engineer managing 50 or even 100 servers, installing packages, updating configurations, restarting services. Doing all of this manually would take hours. So this is where Ansible architecture helps us automate everything from a single mission. Okay, let's deep dive into Ansible architecture. Like we already discussed about some of the few points, I will show the architecture in a representation over here. Okay, let's talk about it. This is the basic architecture of Ansible. Ansible follows a simple model. It's a very simple model it's going to follows. We have one mission node which is going to calling it as control node, and the multiple missions going to be calling it as manager nodes. The control node sends automation instructions to all these managed servers over here. So how the control node will works? The control node is the mission where Ansible is installed. This mission acts like the brain of the automation system. From here, when we write the playbooks, maintain inventory files and executes automation tasks, these all going to be happen in this control node. Whenever we run the Ansible command, the control node connects to the target servers and executes the tasks over here. For example, if I write Ansible playbook install nginx.yaml, suppose if I give the instruction, it will directly connect to the manager nodes. How it's going to connect? Manager nodes are the target missions that Ansible going to be managed. This could be any kind of like it can be virtual missions like cloud virtual missions or maybe Linux servers or even containers, and also even for Windows missions as well. The best part about Ansible is it can be agentless. We already discussed about this point. This means we don't need to install any kind of special software on the target missions. Okay. Now, how the target mission is going to be communicated in the sense like Ansible uses communication method which is going to be calling it as SSH for Linux systems. If it is for Windows missions, we're going to use for WinRM over here. WinRM for Windows systems. That's we already know. Okay. This is one of the biggest advantage of Ansible we have. Since most of the Linux servers already have SSH connection will be established over there. SSH will be default available and it will be enabled over there. Okay, Ansible can start managing them immediately without installing any kind of agent over there. Okay, that's how it works. And also, if I show the nodes over here, you can see control node Ansible server, Linux I have mentioned managed. These all the components will be there. Control node is the mission where Ansible is installed and executed, roles and responsibilities, and manager nodes are the target missions controlled by Ansible, whether it can be database servers, Kubernetes, or whatever it can be. And next we have something called as inventory file. Okay, and for example, like requirements for manager nodes is SSH access Ansible connects by SSH, and Python should be installed to run the modules. I will talk about it within a bit moment. So next we'll talk about inventory here. Inventory file is all of the list. Inventory file is a list of all servers that Ansible is going to be managed over here. So instead of remembering IP addresses, we organize servers into such as web servers group or database servers group or application servers group like that we're going to name. And then there will be two types of inventories also will be available. One is static inventory and the other one is dynamic inventory. Static inventory, we directly go ahead and mention the servers list and the IP addresses and the usernames and host addresses, all the details will be mentioned and it will be directly straightforward. When it comes to dynamic inventory, it is used for cloud environments. Suppose, for example, you have EC2 instances and Azure virtual machines or GCP instances. Okay, for all of this AWS, it will be having a plugin called as AWS EC2, and also we have like Azure RM plugin, the GCP compute plugin we having it, so that we can execute the command like Ansible inventory -hyphen list. You will get all the details of it. Okay, how it gonna be work and all these things we'll check in a deep dive into practical about inventory section. Okay, now we talk about modules. So modules are the actual units of a work in Ansible. Okay, for example, like we can say like it is a small programs that going to perform some tasks on manager nodes. For example, I already discussed about APT module, it is going to install the packages, whereas service managers is going to manage the services. Copy module is to transfer the files between source to destination one of the servers, and it has many thousands of built-in modules are available. If you wanted to manage the Docker containers, we can go for a Docker container. And if we wanted to clone the repositories into the target missions, we can use Git over there. And managing the users, we can use user module. Like this, we have plenty of modules are available. If you go search about the modules in Ansible documentation, there are plenty of examples are available. You need to have a patience to try and execute those one by one. Okay, let's talk about as a real-time DevOps kind of thing. Okay, by the way, playbook, we need to discuss about this playbook. Playbooks are written in YAML format and describe the automation tasks. For example, we wanted to install packages, start services, create users, or configuring servers using playbooks. Only we are going to do. Okay, before going to the playbooks deep dive, I'll be taking the session about Ansible ad hoc commands. It will be useful for straightforward administration, system administration tasks. It will be very useful. Okay, whereas playbooks, a group of tasks you wanted to execute, in such cases we will use this playbooks here. Okay, and you can see as this example, I have a list of web servers like 5 or 10. In those 5 or 10 servers, I wanted to install this Nginx, and that service should be started over there. If I am having Ubuntu missions, it will be straightforward to install and to do the things. If it is Red Hat or other distribution missions, it will be we need to manually to start the service over there. That all information I have mentioned in this example here. Okay, and if I execute Ansible playbook nginx.yaml, the task which I mentioned, install nginx and start nginx, will be going to be performed one by one. Okay, and this is how it going to work. And when it comes to plugins, we'll be having extend functionality. We'll talk about it, about these plugins in a very detailed manner in our upcoming sessions. And we'll talk about something called as facts. Facts are the information stored about servers. Okay, if I want some OS details, IP addresses, memory related details, host name about it, and kernel details and all these things. If I execute Ansible all -m and setup, it will be displayed about the distribution of your target missions, processor, how many processor virtual CPUs you have, memory, and the disk related information, and all this information will be displayed. Why we need to use this? For example, you have different distributions of servers and a managed nodes. Let's take Ubuntu you have, and also Debian, and also maybe like CentOS or Rocky Linux and Alma Linux. Suppose these are the servers we having it. You wanted to find out, okay, if my distribution matches with Ubuntu, then only it should be update the packages. Then only you should need to install Terraform or Docker or something. We can do like that. Okay, I'll be taking a deep session about these facts, and we'll have a good practical about oriented about this. Okay, how the Ansible execution flow will be looks like when you run a playbook deploy.yaml, something I have written here. So first the step will be like user executes the playbook and control node reads the inventory. After that connects to the manager nodes using SSH, transfer modules temporarily, module execute the task and results return to the control node. These are the 6 steps will be happening, and I mentioned randomly, but there are additional steps also will be there. Once you go deep dive, or maybe you find out some reading the documentation of Ansible, you will get this all the details over there. Then internal workflow will be like playbook, inventory, SSH connection, and then manager node returns results will be returned over there. These are the 6 steps will going to be happen. Whenever if I ask and install any Nginx, that information, that module related information will be stored in temporarily. With the help of Python, the module is going to execute it over there. Okay, that's how the internal workflow will be looks like. And yeah, that's all. Important feature we already know about, like Ansible is an agentless, because here only we are going to install Ansible in control node. If you have multiple control nodes also, we will be going to install over there. Whereas in manager nodes, we will not install any kind of uh, Ansible over there. We will install Python. Python should be available. Why Python should be available in the sense modules will not directly communicate, directly execute. We cannot able to execute it. With the help of Python only, we can able to execute it. That's how it going to works. Okay, and yeah, that's all for this video. Like I will talk about installation in next video. Okay, how the real-time architecture and all these things. And for suppose, for example, you are created infrastructure by using Terraform with Azure virtual machines. Once it got created in the pipeline setup, we will be configuring these playbooks. And playbooks, once we trigger the playbooks, it will install the Docker, or maybe on top of the Docker, you wanted to deploy the application. Everything will be able to possible over there. Okay, we have a deep dive discussion about this project. In the next video, we will install Ansible step by step on a Linux machine and run our first Ansible ad hoc command. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more DevOps tutorials. Thank you.